ar-lein, ar Uniwaves
ac ar Express Byw. Dyma
Express Radio.
Hey everyone, welcome to Be the Change on Air. My name is Lily Mott, and I'm so excited to introduce my guest who is here in the Express radio station with me today. My guest today is Agathe Dijoud, and she used to be involved in Express Radio during her time at Cardiff, and now she works in community radio. I'm so excited to talk with Agathe about all of the work she's doing, so let's get started. Welcome to the show, and I'm so excited to have you here. Before we get started, pronounce your name correctly, just to make sure that we're covering the bases.
Hello! You did it right, actually. It's Agathe Dijoud, so you don't pronounce the D at the end, but even French people will get it wrong, so you got it right.
Okay. Fair enough. That works for me.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that I missed some parts of who you are and the work that you're doing, so fill those gaps in for me.
Cool. Hi, so I'm Agathe. I used to be a student at Cardiff Uni, so I did the wonderful Express Radio while I was here, and I was part of a show team called The Global View, which was fun international news, especially in our third year, which was like on Saturday mornings. Anyway, we would talk about fun international news like penguins visiting a museum in Atlanta or something, and we would play like international music, and that's how I started loving radio, because I never did radio before, and then I was like, you know what, that's just gonna be my job now, so I'm gonna just try and work in radio, which is really hard, but I'm really lucky to now work in a radio platform, which is the Millennium Centre's youth-led radio station. So I've been working there for a few months now, and I also work, like, that's part-time anyway, so I'm able to work like in radio at the moment, so that's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's so exciting. So tell me about your background, and of course you said that you fell in love with radio here and doing this work, which is awesome. Tell me about your podcast as well. I think it's so cool that it's in French and English.
Yeah.
I think that's so exciting, and I think we need more of that. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so I need to say a disclaimer first, which the podcast was a 2020 project, like everybody else, that did not go further than January 2021. But I'm lightly hoping that it's going to come back. But anyway, so basically in my undergrad, I did politics and international relations, and then I went back to France to do a master's in environmental politics. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of things that I'm like interested in, and I was like, I kind of want to, save the planet or whatever, and just like study that, I guess. So I was like, well, my two passions are the environment and audio / like podcast radio, like any of that, like talking in a mic type of thing. So I'm going to start a podcast where I explain environmental politics to people on it, like within about 10-15 minutes. The concept was to be like aimed at for more like young people, and I also realized that a lot of resources around the world and stuff are mainly in English. So I thought, and like I speak French as well. Obviously, French is my first language, so I thought, oh well, it's easy for me to just kind of do the exact same episode in French as I would do in English, and like vice versa. So I thought I'll just do it in both languages, also because like a lot of things are not accessible to people if they don't speak English. And that's not just in like environmental politics, but it's a lot about a lot of different kinds of resources, like I don't know, like mental health things and things like that. Like if you go on like social media, like most of my social media is in English, and it's things that are like very progressive. I'm going on a tangent here, but like a lot of things that are very progressive are not really accessible, obviously, in other languages that are not English. So people don't have access to that, and so I thought, well, I can at least do that for environmental politics for people.
Yeah. I think that's so interesting, and I think that's not something that a lot of people, especially with English as their first language, I don't think that they think about, like podcasts, for example. Just even the most popular ones, that is inaccessible, and that's awesome that you're filling that gap. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the topics that you talked about. I know it was a 2020 project.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
So
I mean, I have plans for things, and they're just because like basically I'm not doing it at the moment because it's research based, so it's not interview based, and the content doesn't make itself if I don't work on it. So obviously I'm not working on it, so it can't come out anyway. So like the things that I would explain is like, well, my idea of the concept was like something that a Fridays for Future striker would be listening to on a Friday morning, like going to a strike, for example, or not going to school, I guess, like going to the strike. So, you know, one of the episodes, like I would talk about like what COPs are, what does it mean when people say sustainable development. I was thinking also of doing specific things about like what each country is doing, or like what countries say that they're doing and what they actually do, because that's never the same. And we're seeing like at the moment in COP, like all of these big countries are saying they're doing great, but literally they're not. Yeah, that's so interesting. So tell me about the work that you're doing now. I would love to know about what it looks like to be involved in youth radio. Tell me about what your day-to-day looks like now. Oh, okay, great. It's amazing. I live the dream, to be honest. I work in radio platform. That's I work part-time, so basically like 3 days a week. My job role is called like studio coordinator, so I do anything that the other people in the team are not doing. Like there's a broadcast technician who takes care about the tech. There's a training and outreach officer who offers trainings, because radio platform is about like trainings and broadcasting for young people. So someone's doing that. And then there's a marketing and events officer who's does marketing and events, like social media and events. And there's another studio coordinator, because radio platform has got a station also in Porth, so that's in the valleys. So my job is for the Cardiff station, and I mostly like just kind of organize the day-to-day for members. Like whenever they come in, I'll help them out with recording their podcast or their show. I'll try and like do some like engagement with members. So we do like live shows once in a while. So most of radio platform is like pre-recorded. We are trying to go live, but again, kind of like we were saying earlier, but like the pandemic has made people a bit more wary about going live, and so they usually pre-record, which is fair enough. But for example, next week we're doing like a festive live day. So like I'm kind of organizing these kinds of things, and also kind of building relationships with other community stations around like South Wales and things, and also maintaining the relationship with the rest of the Wales Millennium Centre, so we can get like press tickets to some shows in the Donald Gordon Theatre and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of
lots of things.
That's really fun. There's loads of like tippy tapping on my laptop, sending emails.
Yeah. What are some of the podcasts that people are doing that you've worked on or that you've helped?
Yeah. So there's actually we're doing a radio platform Wrapped at the moment. So I've been looking at a lot of the shows. So there's a show about like with a member who interviews people with disabilities, and they kind of talk about their life. They talk about their disability, but also their life in general. What like Carrot, who's the member, she says like in the kind of there's a trailer that comes around, and she's like, your disability doesn't define you and things like that. So that's really like the philosophy of that podcast. There's shows, loads of people do shows about music. So one of our staff members is Czech, so she does Czech music shows. Some people do book reviews. There's people who just do kind of chat shows, like there's 3 of them, and they just kind of chat with what they've been doing. Like people have been to like Harry Styles, and they just do a whole hour talking about it, which is so fun. And yeah, I have a chill music show.
That's so
plugging
cool.
it in, tea cozy.
That's so cool. So that's a wide range. That's amazing that you're able to kind of cover all of these different topics, and I think that's so cool that people can just do whatever they're passionate about, whatever brings them joy. That's amazing. So what are the changes that you are hoping to see, or maybe that you've seen through your work with Radio Platform? Maybe in the presenters that are doing this work, or, some of these shows, it sounds like they cover a whole wide range. I guess, what are some of the changes that they're making in the Cardiff community?
I think loads of people, I think we've got, let me think about that one. so I think like some of our members have got like shows that they themselves post on, like we've got a Mixcloud, but they post them on their own kind of social media and things like that, so that can go around for them. Then obviously we're building relationship with the rest of the Welsh Millennium Centre, which has their own like young creative pool of people and programs, which Radio Platform is one of them. So we're kind of like ingraining or putting ourselves like within the Cardiff creative community, and we're kind of showing that radio is a way to express yourself as well. So yeah, I don't know like how much change. I mean, we did, so like a few weeks ago we took part in Our Earth Week, which is an environmental, like it was a nationwide environmental broadcast week of community radio stations from around the UK, and so Radio Platform took part in that. So our members were able to kind of do shows and about the environment, or like it didn't have to be, you know, political or angry or anything. It can just be like a celebration of nature and things like that. So we're hoping that like we do that again next year, for example.
Yeah. I think even the idea that people have this platform to be able to share their voice and their opinions, and you're giving young people that platform, that's in itself, I think you're making a difference in the community. And that's like exciting.
We're kind of seeing, I mean, like, I think that's the thing with radio in general anyway, because it's like you can just talk about your interests, but no one's seeing you. That's why I started doing radio in like literally in first year of uni, because I was like, I'm not going on camera. There's no way. And like we're really seeing like young people who are like quite shy or introverted, kind of like in group settings, and then you put them in a studio with one or two people in front of a microphone, and then they just start talking about everything that they do, and it's so cool. And it's like, oh my gosh, like this little like light was inside, and it just needs a microphone in a studio, and that's what, like, it just starts shining. It's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing with interviewing for me. I think a lot of times I'll ask a question, just make someone light up, and it's the best thing. And I think that's also what's cool about radio, is you can just have a conversation, or you can just play music and hang out, and you know, it's a lot less pressure than, like you said, being on camera or doing something. I think the only thing is the live aspect. That's a little bit scary. I think the podcasting covers that for me.
But the live has got that, like, the adrenaline that you get from live is so much fun. And I love, like, running the desk and stuff and making it sound cool. Because in my show, I usually have, like, a bed, and I have, like, jingles, and the music, I try to make it, like, talk over the music and stuff. Like, I'm like, it's so fun, I think.
It's amazing to hear you talk about it. I think you can definitely see your passion for it.
Nice.
Tell me about some of your own work that you have planned in the future. If you don't want to spoil it, totally fine, but tell me about some projects that you have coming up or stuff that you're working on.
On Radio Platform or myself?
Anything.
So Radio Platform, I can't really think of much coming up. So the thing is, the big thing that just happened was like 2 weeks ago with Our Earth Week. And I think from now on, or from January, we're going to start like building up on that. And I guess like more personally, I don't know, I'm in Radio Platform until June. So basically there's jobs going on in that radio stations, and it's like every summer it changes team, or we can go again for the jobs and stuff. But so my contract is until June, so I guess like we'll see what happens after that. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, or the universe hasn't decided. And I guess I also like, I don't really have much going on. I don't know. Yeah.
Do you think that you're going to continue with political media in some way, or?
Yeah, I'd like to. So, I mean, I guess between different things where it's like, I love doing radio, but I love doing radio because it's fun. But then I get out of work and I see all these things about the environment, and all these kind of scandals, you know, and like it just makes me really angry and all that. So it's like it makes me want to make a change. But then, like, obviously I love doing radio, and sometimes that doesn't allow me to make a change in ways that I'd like it to. But then I've also worked in like governmental institutions for like the environment. And I've worked in there for like a year once, And basically, like, within a year, there was no change made. And I could tell that there was no change that was about to be made at this very, very small level. And like, that really, like, made me really depressed about, like, the future and stuff. So I was like, I'm not working in the environmental politics anymore because it's just too, like, it's too depressing to see nothing happen. So I was like, I'm just going to have some fun and work in radio. But now I'm back in the thing of, like, I want to make change. So I'm trying to kind of find ways to have both. And I guess, like, doing Art Earth Week a few weeks ago again, like, it really made me feel really good about, like, right, we're doing radio. I'm recording all these, like, little, like, snippets, like, jargon busters things. And it was, like, and we put an event on, and, like, it was really fun. So I'm hoping that, like, I can do more of that, like in the future and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What got you interested in politics in general and in that work?
So I think, like, well, I think there's prescription now, so I can say it. But, like, so I'm from France, and so it's a whole thing. But, like, I'm from France, and I'm from a background that really values high-level studies and studying. And, like, there was no way I wasn't doing a master's, for example, even when I was 18. Like, so I went for the most prestigious school I could think of, which was a French school. And then there happened to be that program that was, like, a Cardiff, like a dual degree between Cardiff Uni and a politics school in France, in Bordeaux. And so I was like, I'm going for this, and it's so cool, and it's quite prestigious. I don't really know much about politics. I don't think I care about politics, but I guess it's gonna look good on my CV. Like, that was, like, 18, 19-year-old me. And, like, I'm really glad I did, because I came to Cardiff and I'm still here. So it's like, I love it. And I loved it in Cardiff. So I think, and, like, I made it through, I guess, like, barely, but I did. So, like, it was interesting. And in itself, it was interesting. I wish I did something else now, thinking back, but it's like, I mean, I did it. So, yeah, I guess I was kind of interested, and I was able to talk about politics back then, I guess. Like, it's that kind of thing where it's like, I kind of was bred into being that kind of person. I don't know. But that's also why now I'm not doing any of it, because it's not who I am, like, fundamentally. I know about these things. I care about these things. But I don't want to be president or prime minister or whatever.
Yeah, and I think there's also a lot of ways that you could be involved in, like, environmental work that doesn't necessarily mean working in legislation.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Working in the policy side of things.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So tell me about, I think that through this work that you're doing, you are making change by empowering young people to use their voices on the radio. And I think also some of these shows that you're talking about doing, and some of, I think you are raising awareness about the importance of using your voice. And I think that's really exciting. Do you have any advice for people who may want to do this work, or maybe may want to be on the radio, or may want to start a podcast, but they may not know where to get started? Do you have any thoughts on advice for them?
So I guess, like, I don't know if I'm legit enough to give actual advice, so I'll just say how I'm doing it. And I guess so far it's been okay working, I guess. If you see, like, for example, radio Platform, I was able to get this job because I'm a member of the station, so it's kind of exclusive to members. So, like, I'm plugging it, but, like, it's free trainings at Radio Platform. You just need to do the training, and then you become a member of the station. It's for people between 11 and 25 years old, so anyone who's, like, in uni under 25 or under 26 even can become a member. You just kind of join. You can look it up on, like, the internet or on Instagram at Radio Platform with 2 Fs. So it's like, these are, like, free trainings where, like, you do the training. It's, if you've done Express Radio, like, it's quite straightforward. It's broadcast, it's interviewing, it's vox pops, like, it's quite easy. And then you become a member. You can do shows, or you don't even have to do a show. And then you can have access to the jobs. So the way that I've been doing things is, like, try and, like, if you see a radio station and stuff, just reach out and see if you can start doing a show with them, or volunteer, do their, like, social media or something. Or just, try and be involved with any kind of audio radio thing. Also, another thing that I do is I just follow all of the kind of radio stations and audio production companies that are around where I live, or even, like, not even around. Like in Cardiff, we've got Bangor Media, we've got Overcut Media, obviously BBC. So like they will advertise it on social media as well. Like if they have a job, make a list of all these things as well. So when you're looking for jobs, just go back to this list and look up on their websites like once in a while, once a month, I don't know, if they're advertising for a job. Same on LinkedIn, just follow them everywhere on social media if you're like big on social media, or if you are a lot on social media. I guess there's loads of websites like Media Beans. I'm just going to name drop loads of things because I feel like I found them inadvertently, and then like, yeah. So there's like Media Beans online. There's on Twitter, the Media Mentor. He's really good. I like
journal resources sometimes. I guess for more specific, like I guess for radio stations, maybe not so much, but journal resources for other other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I like networking as well. Well, just like look them all up. Like just try and like if you see or ask around and stuff, people like what are you looking at, and just email people like say, oh, I'm available for like freelance work or for like volunteering, but also don't give yourself out for free too much. I know like when you're a student it's a bit different, but like now I'm back, like, and now I'm in a level of at a time in my life where I'm like, I actually need money and I'm not doing anything else, so I would rather not work for free. But like still, Yeah, I think that's great advice, and I think putting yourself out there and making connections, that's a great way to do it. What are the best ways for people to follow along with you and the work that you're doing? So yeah, I guess like Radio Platform. So at Radio Platform, we're mostly on Instagram, but we've also got a Twitter and a Facebook. We're in the process of setting up a LinkedIn, I think. Me, it's Agathe Dijoud. So just I have quite a unique name. I don't think there's more of me. Sometimes it's underscore. I think I'm looking at, but I think on Instagram it's underscore, and then on Twitter it's just like Agathe Dijoud. Like the one. Everything most of the things you'll see on my social media are related to Billie Eilish or Heartstopper. So don't be afraid, or be afraid and don't follow me. I don't know.
Disclaimer there. I love it. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, too. If you want to talk about anything I mentioned, please reach out to me by email at lily@bethechangepodcast.org or on Instagram at bethechangepodcast, and also reach out to Agathe as well. Follow her for all of that content that she just mentioned.
Yeah, feel free to reach out. I don't know, like, I feel like I don't think I'll be much help in terms of, like, personally, because I'm also not very well, like, connected or something. I'm not, very well involved yet, but, like, it's great to network on a horizontal level as well, and just kind of make friends and be in solidarity with everyone else kind of looking for jobs. Definitely. Just loving about radio.
Yeah, absolutely. and even for advice on radio shows, I'm sure that you have plenty. Even podcast recs,
brainstorming ideas.
Definitely. Next week I'm going to be joined by Amira Hayat, and Amira is an aspiring journalist who I met through my courses, and she's an activist from Cardiff who's raising awareness about issues including the availability of mental health resources and human rights. So listen live to that interview at 5 p.m. next week. But until then, be the change you wish to see in the world. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks.
This was so fun.
Oh, love it.